Here we go. And then I'm going to want to do the heavy. Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the first installment in what I'm calling the Are They Rank 3 Worthy? I get that question so much, like who should I rank up? And I get it. I ask these questions to myself. In fact, that's part of why I'm doing this, is because these are champions that I'm genuinely considering myself. I'm wondering, how good are they? So I decided I'm going to find out. I'm slapping on a 30% champion boost, which is getting them pretty close to that power level. I'm using my own items, my own revive, my own potions, my own energy, whatever I need to do, because I would like to test them out so that I can have a better answer for you. Now, the first showcase, the first subject of this video is Iron Man Infinity War. It's just kind of coincidence that they're coming out with a new version of him. So it's really cool. This was good timing. I started filming these quite a while ago, because I genuinely have been considering him. He's very good, he's effective, and he can do a lot, and he's a lot of fun. I want to make something very clear though, especially with Iron Man Infinity War. This is all going to be with the Spider-Man Stealth synergy. It really transforms him and helps you keep his damage going. It's very important for him, in my opinion, unless you just want to be relying on the SP3. And while that is fun, and it is an amazing showcase, it truly is a skill and talent in this game, I don't know how practical it is for the rest of us, all right? So here we go. This first fight has been chosen because it is showing you the sort of damage he can do in very long form content. This is Labyrinth the Legend Star-Lord. I think this is about 3 million, 3.5 million health. So this is a significantly beefy boy. You see the amount of hits we've done, only 287, 286. We are intentionally creating the plasma with the heavy. You get a significant attack bonus when you, from the first hit of the heavy. So we wanted to trigger that. That creates a much bigger plasma, right? When you're putting the incinerate and the shock damage together, you're putting the shock from the SP1, the incinerate from the SP2, and then you combine them with the plasma. And then we'll talk a little bit more. We're gonna take a look at 4 other fights to kind of see what he can do, the strengths and the weaknesses. And then at the end of this, I will go over my thoughts on if he makes sense for someone who's just getting Thronebreaker, a more moderate sized advanced account, and then of course your top shelf accounts too. Here we're going to take a look at him as an evade counter. Defenders cannot evade his repulsor hits, which is the first hit of the heavy, the first medium, the second light, and the fourth light. You can see the difference there. The blue lasers kind of being shot out of his hands. It's a very cool effect. And you can see how many evade fails are coming in. It seems like typically defenders, those are the ones they evade. I'm showing you this though because you're going to see, I think it's at least once, it might be 2 or 3 times, where Nightcrawler evades that fourth hit. Now, Iron Man Infinity War, as we all know, if you've ever fought him before, which I'm sure you have, he's got a nice safeguard with that 15% and the auto block with all the armor. He does have the armor to begin with too. So there is a safety net there. However, he's not a full evade counter. And I think that's really important to keep in mind when you're evaluating, should I rank this champion up? And you're thinking, oh, well, he's my evade counter. Well, he is and he isn't. So it's working out really well. We actually could have switched Nightcrawler probably more than once here, but I didn't want to for the sake of this video. I didn't think it made sense if I'm trying to show him as an evade counter. And you're also seeing though, that plasma is doing some nice damage. Now we just saw how big that plasma can get, but this one's doing 2,317, and that's just one transfer over. That's just one plasma. And this was Act 6. This is Act 6 Nightcrawler. So keep that in mind. He does have that in his kit. Now we're going to be looking at him as a heal block champion. He does have a heal block. Like the evade counter though, there's some positives and some negatives to this. The positive is that he has 2 ways of doing it. He can do it on his heavy. He can also do it off of his SP2. That's great, right? You have multiple ways you can do this. You're throwing those anyway because you're transferring over the plasma. Here's the real negative though, is the defender already has to be healing. We'll show that here in this Wolverine fight, and you're gonna see he's gonna take him down plenty easily. The problem is, if you're doing something like a Mr. Sinister, who is healing afterwards, right? They're healing back the damage, or let's say you're going up against a node like Buffet. This isn't going to work for you. This is not going to work for you because the healing is happening after your hits, and you need the healing to be happening and then you hit. So yes, he's got a heal block. It's a nice one. You can see it right there. It is an active debuff, right? It's not a passive like Warlock, but it's Warlock and Mysterio that can do that, right? So let's not hold him up to that bar. But I do think it's important for you to keep that in mind, again, as you're evaluating and based on where you are in this game and the size of your account and what you need. So here we go. We've got the plasma on. I think we're going to throw the SP2 here in just a minute. Yeah, there we go. He does have a nice little armor break, though. It's not significant, but it's there. And then you can refresh the plasmas. You can refresh the plasmas. And I believe it's the incinerate with any repulsor hit. So that's also important to keep in mind. And the Stark Spidey synergy increases the length of time of both of those, which is really important. It allows you to refresh them. Like, see right now, without Stark, those would have fallen off. We've just created the second plasma there with the heavy. Here we go. We get another one. And I think that's important to keep in mind is you can, in a way, almost refresh them. Like if you saw, we already had a heal block up, and then we were able to kind of get another one going. So I did like that about it. It's not like you can't refresh it. So I think that's good. It allows you to keep it up on against a champion who's continuously healing like this with like Wolverine is. And as you can see, this isn't that many hits. This is for a champion who's not known for their big, huge numbers and that sort of thing. This isn't too bad. And I also started the fight off intentionally so that I could show the heal block and how it works here. So keep that in mind. Now, this is Act 7. This is Book 2, Act 7. There's a life cycle. Yes, technically there's that technical suppression. So Mr. Sinister is going to get a heal block applied to him, but I did still want to show you this for a couple of reasons in that we're not going to be able to see, there's nothing we can do about the healing that he is doing right now. So when you're fighting a champion like this, you're just not going to be able to work around it. Now, I also want to show you this for a couple of reasons. I know that we're frequently seeing him with his SP3, right? Iron Man Infinity War is getting a massive, massive power gain. And honestly, it is cool. It is great. I think it is a tactic. In fact, you're going to see me use it in a much more complicated fight here at the end of the video. But you're not always going to be able to do that. So with Mr. Sinister's ability to transfer over those debuffs, is there a way to get this done? And here we go. Yes, there is. And you're going to see this. I'm going to be able to apply the plasma without the SP3. So we're going to work Mr. Sinister here as well as we can. We're going to get ourselves above the 2 bars of power because we want to be close to being able to throw the SP2 and then being able to throw the SP1 as quickly as possible so we can transfer them into a plasma. So here we go. We're playing a little bit of a baiting game here with Sinister. Going to work our way up to the SP2. And then we'll be baiting one more SP1. There we go, Sinister. And then we'll come in. I might go a little bit more. Let's see. I don't particularly remember. It looks like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it as safe as possible. Get one more SP1 off from Sinister, and then I'm going to go in for the SP2. Here we go. So now we do have a heal block. That's from the node, though. All right. There is the nice stun that can come up, and I think that's based on the armor blocks that you have on the champion, if I remember correctly. And now I'm holding my block because I want to do what I can to ensure that Sinister cannot throw his SP1 or chooses not to. He did not. And then I transferred those 2 debuffs into the plasma with the heavy. And now it's a passive. So Sinister's not going to be able to transfer this over to us. Watch. Here we go. Oh, this is important to also mention. There is a little bit of power control. This is very Iron Man Infinity War, right? He has a lot of things in his kit. None of them are amazing. But when you have on the plasma, and I think it is the incinerate too, and you have a repulsor hit, it's going to drain their power, as you see. So watch, when we hit him with the repulsor hit, it's going to drain his power a little bit, which does come in handy, right? It does come in handy. You can kind of push them up to that SP3 and then drain their power a little bit with that light ender. As you saw, Sinister's not able to transfer over the plasma. We've gotten another one now without having to go to their SP3, and then he's down. So the things that are really the negatives, right, where he's not amazing with the heal block, he's not amazing with this, there are ways to work around it. It's just a little bit difficult. Now we're going against this Act 6 Thor Rag. I like to test champions here because I think there's just a lot going on. And this is going to be a great example of him, Iron Man Infinity War, the damage he can do, playing him with the SP1 and the SP2, transferring it into plasma with the heavy, and then utilizing his massive power gain for the SP3 plasma too. Because that is a tactic, it's a good tactic, it's just a very difficult way to play. But you're gonna see that it can be used in a very complicated fight. Any massive power gain is a big deal. You know how much, if you watch my channel before, you know how much I love power gain champions or champions that control power. It's part of every single fight, right? Okay, so here we go. we're working on. Now, this is why I like this, though. This is why I like this. The way the node is done, it's going to cost Thor significantly less to throw his specials. Plus, if you know Thor, when he gets to that 20, he's going to get the massive power gain. So I'm not going to be able to just continuously throw my SP2 and my SP1 over and over. No, this fight's not going to work that way. This is a complicated fight, especially for a champion like Iron Man. So it's going to take me quite a while here to even work up to my SP2. You want to throw the SP2 first because you can refresh the Incinerate with your Repulsor Blast. That's an important thing to keep in mind. So I just need to keep doing this over and over to get to that SP2. And remember, going straight to the SP3 wasn't going to be working well because we are going against Rag Thor. So that's another reason why that didn't work out. I am running Suicide, so as a result, every special we're throwing is decreasing our health by 5%, so that's working out real well. We're getting pretty close to be able to throw our SP1. As you see, he's not doing, well, it's not good damage. The plasma is really where that damage is coming from, the damage that we're seeing, the damage that we like, the damage that we want. We're 83 hits in, and we still only have this Rag Thor at 68%. So the debuffs, the shock, and the Incinerate aren't really doing amazing damage on their own. So don't fool yourself into thinking that, okay? I think we're getting pretty close to being able to throw our SP2 here. And then you're going to see how quickly this fight closes once we're able to get the plasmas going. All right, got to bait one more here. I know at this point, in fact, I don't think I do any plasmas without the SP3. I'm trying to remember, because I remember thinking if I got myself below the 15%, it would be very helpful with this fight. In fact, yeah, here we go. I never did get one with the SP2 and the SP1, which is fine. Here we go. And then I'm going to want to do the heavy or kind of, get the heavy prepared. So that way that attack is modifying the SP3. We're going to throw it and then watch how much this plasma does. Now, I also need to be careful about Thor's hit counter. So there's kind of a lot going on. I want to refresh it, the plasma as best I can, while also keeping in mind Thor's power and his hit counter. I'm going to probably be able to refresh one time there. There we go. And look at that, we're up to, what was that, 1282 because of the shock and the Incinerate, or the plasma now. Getting pretty close to the SP3, but we need to prevent Thor's power gain, which is nice. That's where Iron Man Infinity War's power gain really comes in handy. Really comes in handy. If you're going to play him this way, intentionally with the SP3 and the power gain under 50% health, you don't want to have Suicides on, obviously. But we got some nice damage going here. And I want to be clear. I would not intentionally take Iron Man Infinity War in for this fight. If you need to clear this fight for the first time, don't take in Iron Man Infinity War. Take in a different fight. But I did want to test him, see how well this all can work in a complicated fight. He works out well. He gets the solo here. The power gain is incredibly helpful. I actually think that probably would be an even better way to just do this fight from the get-go. But I wanted to test this out. This was about testing. This wasn't about showing necessarily the best way to play him. And now let's go ahead and take a look and see, what do I think for the 3 different scenarios we presented? Is he rank 3 worthy? All right, so for Thronebreaker, meaning, you're looking for your first rank 3, he's one of your options, he's one of your best options. Yeah, I think he's great. I think he's a great option for that because he is going to provide a lot of utility. I mean, there was so much in this kit and we could have covered significantly more. The long range damage is great. In fact, even just one plasma was doing plenty. That was Act 6, Act 7, and Labyrinth of Legends we were looking at there. He does have some immunities. We didn't cover those in depth, but there's the Cold Snap then and the Bleed. You need the armor up, but they're there. And those are damages and immunities that you really, you want those immunities. You need to mitigate that damage. He's an okay evade counter. We saw the real big pluses there, and then we saw where it can go a little dicey. You could play parry one medium, and then maybe 2 lights, especially if like an elongated stun or something like that. You bring the white mags pre-fight or something like that. There's ways around it is the point. And then he does have a heal block. That's why I'm saying a heal block. It's not an amazing one. It's not even really a great one, but it is a heal block. You can use it. Just be smart about the fights you're going in and using it for. So if he's your first rank 3, I think you're getting a lot of utility, you're getting a lot of damage, and you're going in eyes wide open. I think he is well worth it, and congratulations. All right, now is he worth it for a more advanced account? You've been Thronebreaker for a while, you've got some rank 3s. This one is a little more like, well, I don't know. I think you really gotta look, does he provide something you need? Do you really need those immunities? Do you really need a heal blocker? Do you really need an evade counter? Because again, keep in mind, he's not amazing at anything. We're seeing that he can do Abyss fights. There are some he can do. My good buddy, an amazing player, FaZe of 4Loki, said that he did use Iron Man Infinity War to solo some bosses as well. So it is possible, it can be done. But I would say really make sure that you need him for some sort of content that you're either struggling with or he's gonna fill a hole in your roster. He's very good at a lot of things. He's not amazing at any. And I think if your account is advanced enough, you might find yourself thinking it's better to take in, these 2 or 3 champions who I know are going to lock down these different things I need for this quest. All right, and then for the top shelf accounts, have fun. Just make sure you're happy tomorrow. And what I mean by that is this. I am genuinely considering Iron Man Infinity War for my account, my own personal account. And after going through this video and doing the testing that I did, I don't think I'm gonna take him up. Not that I think he's a bad option. In fact, if you saw earlier in the video, I'm saying go for it if he's for your Thronebreaker. But I think where your account's at and what content you're trying to tackle, I think really changes how you frame these issues, or at least the answers that you're gonna come up with. For me, I'd almost rather hold on to that tier 5 CC and see if someone else comes up that I really need, or they maybe have synergies with champions that I love. Like I'm considering Hulkbuster. I do really like Iron Man Infinity War though. He is a lot of fun. Doing these fights was tremendous fun, especially the long form one, the one against Ragthor, and then also the one against Nightcrawler. So basically all of them were a lot of fun. And this is a game. And although we take this game very seriously, we're just basically taking our fun seriously. So if you want to do it, I think go for it. I definitely don't think that is crazy. It is not insane. You definitely have not ruined your account, and you're going in eyes wide open. I hope this was helpful. This was a ton of fun to make. I'm making at least one more because I made them at the exact same time. I was able to film the footage together. And I've really enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know what you think. 1, was this helpful? Did you enjoy it? What are things you'd maybe like to see more or less of, if so? And then also, what do you think? Is he worthy of rank 3? And make sure you look at it from these different ways of framing the question, right? Because I do think that question is very different for someone who's just looking for their first rank 3, for someone who has a moderately sized account and with, a lot of champions in there. And then for your top shelf accounts where maybe we are looking to just break a little bit more for fun, or perhaps we're starting to save those tier 5 CC thinking that rank 4 is maybe only 5, 6, 7, 8 months away. I hope they're like 2 years away, but you never know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.